Hi guys, and welcome to your super short notes on language because my computer keeps dying and I can't record this lecture anymore. All right, here we go on language. Language part one. I typed a lot of the definitions in here. I'm going to read from the PowerPoint and give you a few examples. So make sure you keep track of the things that I'm saying versus the things that are written, and then any of the blue, remember, is a vocab word. Okay, so let's talk about what is language. Language can be defined as a couple different things. It can either be spoken, written, or signed. So you can talk or communicate with a couple different mediums, right? You can speak your language, you can write your language, and then also think about anything that can be signed. So sign language, or just what does what do hand motions add to a language? So it's all those things and how they are combined to communicate meaning. So it's important that you know that language communicates meaning, that it's not just words after words that don't make sense together. There has to be some meaning that's associated with language. And you can think about, is it really possible to, is it another language if you don't understand it, if it's not communicating anything to you? So the senses, what we hear, feel, write, and see, those can be all used to express language or communication. And it's really showing, I really like this quote from your book, that it's like communicating what's in one mind to another. So language is the way that we interact as humans, and think about how language has evolved in different places, and thinking about why. So we'll talk about animal communication in class, or language, and what it means to be one mind to another. You'll probably have to pause this because I'm going to try and talk fast to get through this. But pause, write down, and then write down any questions. Okay, so talking about, this is a vocab word I spend a lot of time with a couple of you on. The smallest thing, so talking about language and how we're talking. So now we're actually just talking. Looking at a phoneme, so think about meaning like mnemonics, is the smallest distinct sound that has no meaning in language. Right, so the smallest distinct sound with no meaning whatsoever. So the English language has about 40 of them. Talking too fast now. And this tells a lot about when we're learning another language, that these, the simplest distinct sounds, we need to know them by a pretty early age, or it's hard to catch up later to learn another dialect and be able to talk or speak in that dialect without an accent. So an example would be like bat has 3 of them, b, a, t. So when you're reading or learning how to read, you learn a lot of these simple, distinct meanings. So b, a, t. Hold on. So the phonemes in that bat would be b, a, t. Okay, so phoneme, the smallest distinct sound that has no meaning associated with it. So b, a, and t do not have any meaning associated with it. So it's not a language, right? There's no communication. It's a small, distinct sound. All right. Now, versus, hold on just a second again. Okay, so as from the last note, sounds do not make language. So our morpheme, kind of sounds like morphine, so morpheme, is the smallest unit of sound with meaning. So now I'm actually communicating. Sounds do not make language, but morphemes do. These include things like prefixes and suffixes. So an example would be like pre or eh. Though that's the smallest unit that has meaning with it. So pre would mean before, eh, meaning like it's a verb, it's done. So a phoneme versus a morpheme, smallest unit of sound, smallest unit with meaning associated with it. So you can think meaning morpheme has both M's in them. All right, now let's talk some English and grammar. So grammar is a language structure, so how language is put together, so structure, how it's built. And grammar is a system of rules, and your English teacher would probably say like bad grammar or good grammar. So a system of rules, and it includes the following things. So you need to know like kind of the hierarchy of grammar. So grammar is a set of rules, and it includes 2 sub-things, semantics and syntax. We've already talked about syntax. So syntax, we talked about, not syntax. We've already talked about semantics. And semantics is talking about the meaning of something, that when you encode it for meaning, then it's more likely to stay with you. So semantics are rules that imply meaning. There are some syntax rules though, and these are rules for combining words into grammatically sensible sentences. That was the definition of the word. Syntax are rules for combining words into grammatically sensible sentences. Remember, grammar is a system of rules. So basically, when you play syntax, you play the rules of grammar. Okay? So these are different in different languages. So that makes grammar different in different languages. So this is not a universal grammatical rule. We say that grammar pertains to English or to Spanish or to French. There's different rules. And they can still convey meaning. I liked this from the book, that the semantics of a sentence, you can get the meaning of it with having incorrect syntax or grammar. So ain't got none means the same thing as don't have any semantically, right? So that the meaning is that you don't have any, right? Ain't got none is a double negative, so it might break grammar rules, but it would not break semantic rules. Okay? Now, the next part of your notes, I told you it was short, is going to be on development. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, we're talking about development tomorrow. What I want you to do for these notes, because they're so short, oh my gosh, this could be the shortest notes ever. I'm going to keep talking so they're a little bit longer. Is I want you to be prepared tomorrow to talk about grammar, syntax, semantics, and then we're going to move forward with development in class, and then your notes tomorrow night will be a little bit of a preview. Okay, so be prepared to look at something grammatically tomorrow and talk about what are the morphemes versus the phonemes versus the semantics versus the syntax. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.